Hello and good day. I'm Mahmoud Ahmed, a statistic. I'm a male Sudanese, Afro-Arab Muslim. Let me introduce myself in more mathematical and relative terms. I'm one of roughly 7 billion humans, so I am 0.000000014% of all humans. I'm one of 1.111 billion Africans, so I am 0.0000009% of all Africans. And I'm one of roughly 369.8 million Arabs, so I'm 0.0000027% of all Arabs. There you have it, an objective and accurate introduction. My statistical value in this world. I know this is a very unusual way to introduce myself. But to the majority of the world, that is exactly what I am. Nothing but a number, a percentage, a statistic. And the same goes for everyone in this room. It is the way we perceive the world beyond our direct reach, and there's nothing wrong with that. In the past 2 centuries, the world has seen so many inhumane genocides and massacres that any death toll within the thousands seems acceptable today. We're rarely, if ever, affected by the 300,000 killed in the Darfur conflict in Sudan, or the 76,000 killed in Syria's civil conflict last year. Who would be moved by such numbers once you learn of the 20 million killed by Stalin's regime or the 45 million killed by Mao Zedong? Consequentially, we don't give much thought to the deaths that happen in these conflict zones. And as a result, we forget what these numbers really stand for. Just last week, 300 people were killed in Iraq. 300 families, friends, people just like me and you. 300 innocent lives were taken in this room alone. There is less than 300 people. What this number represents is horrendous and unacceptable, yet when read on a newspaper, carries no magnitude whatsoever. But this doesn't put things quite into perspective. So I would like to ask everyone in the audience to please close your eyes. Everyone's eyes closed, even you know, eyes closed. I'm serious. Everyone's eyes closed, please. This is very important. Listen to my words and try and imagine what I'm saying as vividly as you possibly can. Imagine a person who is very dear to you. Imagine sitting with them in the comfort of your living room. Feel the soft texture of your couch as the colorful afternoon paints this moment you both share. You're sharing stories of what happened last weekend. You remember all the good times you had together and think about all the good times you're yet to have. You are sheltered in the comfort of your home. Feel the happiness. Feel the love you have towards them, the love and happiness they bring you. I want you to feel happy, peaceful. Boom! Amongst chaos and rubble lays their lifeless body. They're dead. What are you going to do about it? They're dead. What can you do about it? They are dead, and there is nothing you can do about it. All you can do is stand there, dumbed by shock, in disbelief and horror. All that color, all that happiness turns gray. You feel numb and hollow. All that happiness, all that color is gone. Now open your eyes and take a deep breath. As I'm speaking, this is unfortunately a reality for some. I just allowed you all to experience what a child named Ahmed is experiencing. The only difference between us and Ahmed is that after this, we all get to go back to the comfort of our homes, but he will have to watch his mother being buried. But that is irrelevant because by the end of this week, his mother will be reduced to nothing but an insignificant number, a statistic. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what is meant when you hear or read one civilian has been killed. Now try and comprehend 300,000 in Darfur. Try and comprehend 76,000 in Syria last year. Try and comprehend 300 every week in Iraq. Ahmed is now rendered an orphan. The death of 300 people is not the end of the effects of these statistics. It is but the continuation of a vicious and ruthless cycle, because now we have something that cannot be measured or quantified by mathematical methods. We have hatred. The hatred of those who are left without parents, without children, without family, without friends is channeled into them being vulnerable and susceptible to the rhetoric of extremists and radicals, only making them perpetuate the very atrocities they had once fallen victim to. This child, Ahmed, depending on who takes care of him, could grow up to either become an activist or a terrorist. We think of the numbers that kill before we think of the numbers that are being killed. We think of those who need to be dealt with before we think of those who need help. And by doing so, we only further contribute to this problem, because no human conflict can be quantified in numbers or in statistics. And by doing so, by attempting to do so, we ridicule all the pain and trauma these conflicts inflict. We become desensitized to what these numbers mean, and we treat people the same way we would a mathematical problem. Last month, 2,000 people were killed by Boko Haram. 2,000 people. 2,000 people. 2,000 people were killed by Boko Haram for absolutely no reason. Their only crime was being in Boko Haram's advancement line. Recently, we have seen people march for the freedom of speech. These Nigerians did not have the freedom to exist. They did not have the right to breathe. Why are we doing this? Why are we so self-indulged in our own privilege that we no longer find meaning in human lives? That people become numbers and figures to be included in a presentation or a report rather than human lives to be mourned. As human beings, we pride ourselves for our capability to empathize. I want us to remember this and empathize with all statistics, regardless of where they occur or who they are. I've just told you what a statistic does. Now I will show you what a statistic looks like up front and personal. Before I tell the story, I want to give you guys a little bit of context. I was born in Germany, and I lived there with my parents and my little brother until I was 8. And then we moved to Sudan. When we were in Germany, we had this Sudanese family friend called Sharif. Now, in Germany, I didn't have family, so Sharif to me was the closest thing I ever knew to family in Germany. He was like my older brother. I always looked up to him, and I respected him immensely. It was a Friday morning. I'm 8. The night before, I had played a lot with the kids at Al-Jalsa. I had the sweetest of chai and the most exquisite of gargosh. I get up and I make my way to the bathroom. I look in the mirror. I see my reflection. I smile, greeting it. I brush my teeth, wash my face, look at my reflection one more time, then head to the dining table where my morning chai and gargosh await for me. I take a bite of gargosh and a sip of chai, and I feel warmth engulf me as I enjoy the decadence of my morning. I hear my mom call me, Mahmoud. She says, I respond, Naam. She says, Ta'al ya waladi. Come here, my son. I walk towards my mom's room, and as I get nearer and nearer, I feel a dark, ominous aura slowly crawl up my feet from the floor once surging with warmth, now unbearably cold. I step into my mom's room and feel as if I have stepped into a realm I could never return from. I look at my mom and I see her lying down in bed, exhausted to an almost fatal extent. Her eyes, heavy and swollen, shut. I thought she was dying. She says, Mahmoud. I respond, Naam. As her lips forge those cursed words, I can taste my shai and gargosh turn sour and foul in my mouth. She takes a deep breath. Sharif mat. Sharif is dead. The whole world crumbles at my feet. I ask, Le, why? She responds with even heavier breath, and through gritted teeth, my mom forges one more sentence. He was killed by a racist group of teenagers yesterday. All I could feel was rage. I was confused and numb. I make my way back to my room. I look at my pillow and I collapse face down, making sure the pillow would muffle my sadness. And I scream. I scream because I was useless. I scream because I was hopeless. I scream because I was relieved of my ignorance. I sob and cry as I feel my innocence leave me. How was that? It was heart-wrenching, wasn't it? I wasn't even the victim, but this one incident, this one person, this one statistic was one of many more. You may have read him on a newspaper and shrugged him off without even knowing it. K20205, a woman and her 3 children are killed by gunfire, stabbing, beheading in their home in South Sinjar. K20423, 2 sisters are caught in the explosion of a suicide car bomb next to a police station 40 kilometers west of Mosul. M2871, a 4-year-old child. A 4-year-old child killed by gunfire as him and his family flee at the outskirts of Fallujah. We hear this and we are saddened. We cry. What saddens me even more, what makes me cry, I cry because I don't know who they were. I cry because I don't know what they stood for. I cry because I did not know their age or gender. I cry because I can't know why or how they were killed. I cry because I didn't even know their names. All I know is what they've been reduced to. K20205, K20423, M2871. 3 codes. 3 human lives. More than 3 human lives have been reduced to 3 statistics. Ahmed, whom I mentioned earlier, doesn't exist. He's a hypothetical person I made up to emphasize a point. M2871, however, did exist. That 4-year-old child gunned down by militants, he was Ahmed. I could be here, I could stand here screaming statistics for hours and hours on end, but numbers cannot and will not replace people. We forget that people, unlike statistics, have influence way beyond a death toll or a bar graph or a single number. They are humans. They have lives. They have names. They have hopes. They have dreams. But we forget this. These humans, they need our empathy. They need us to be human. Now, to make sure that you guys don't go home hating the world, I'm now a TEDx speaker. I'm one of 30,000 TEDx speakers. And I am a UWC student, making me one of 40,000 alumni and students. And with the force of these numbers, these statistics, these people, the possibilities for change are limitless. I am lucky. I come from a family where socio-political awareness is vital to who I am. I come from a family where kindness and compassion are as important as grades and achievements. I have two very beautiful statistics. Very beautiful and loving statistics. I call them Mama and Baba. I have two very beautiful and loving statistics. And because of them, I received the freedom, guidance, and support. Benny? I received the freedom, guidance, and support I needed to gain this mentality I have now. That ultimately drove me to come to Costa Rica and to talk in TEDx today. I hope that after this, you'll be able to look at numbers and think just a little bit harder of who it is you're actually looking at. And if I have achieved my goal, then I will have done my part as a statistic. And by the time you leave this hall, you will be able to, you'll have the tool necessary to impact and save millions. You will all have empathy. Hello and good day. I'm Mahmoud Ahmed. I'm an 18-year-old Sudanese Afro-Arab Muslim. But more importantly, I am a person and I have a life as complex, filled with love, dreams, hopes, and people just like yours. And I am, and you all are, so much more than a statistic. Thank you.